Today I am going to be decorating our front porch and I am so excited to take you along. My name is Jenneca and I make home-centered content designed to inspire creativity and resourcefulness. Things like DIY, crafting, decorating, and organization. Alright, let's jump into it. Okay, here is the front porch that we are working with. I want to give it a complete fall makeover. The tricky parts here are this beam that's feels very awkwardly placed. It's not on the outer edge of the steps, it's kind of like 3/4 of the way over, and it's just kind of awkward. We also have these flower beds next to it, which one day I want to turn into a beautiful cut flower garden, but it was like this when we moved in. We moved in partway through the growing season, and we just didn't really know what was going to pop up in this flower bed, so we kind of let it do its thing. Some things are weeds, some things are flowers, and we're just kind of trying to figure it out. Next year we're going to start fresh with these flower beds and really try to turn it into a beautiful flower garden, but in the meantime we're just embracing the natural look. Next, I grabbed some fall essentials. You can't have a front porch without some pumpkins, in my opinion. I was going to get fake pumpkins, but I did go with real ones. But fake pumpkins can get very expensive, and in the future, I think we want to try growing our own pumpkins in our yard. So rather than having fake pumpkins for the front porch filling up more of our storage space, I decided to go with real ones, and I actually found a killer dill. I also grabbed some mums from our local Smiths. They were on sale for $2.99, and I grabbed some foliage and garland and things that were on sale at Michael's to use for an archway for the front porch. I also found some lights for $1.99, and they were outdoor-indoor lights. I found them at Big Deal Outlet, so I definitely picked those up. I grabbed some embellishments from the dollar store just to add to the archway. And this is what I ended up with. I have some old wedding flowers too that I might incorporate into the design, and I am excited to get started. My first goal for this space is to turn this awkward post into a beautiful fall archway. Now, fair warning, I did this in the least efficient way possible. I restarted my design about 3 different times, so hopefully you can learn something from my mistakes. The first time, my husband had this idea of wrapping wire around a wood chip and then wedging it between the paneling and attaching the foliage to the wire. Now, this actually worked so well. It was so sturdy. I used this leaf garland that I got at Michael's on sale for kind of the base or the main filling for the archway. On the side closest to the arch, I wired it, but on the side closest to the wall, there was nothing to wire it to, so I attached it to a rock so that it wouldn't move around. Then I added some lights, and this greenery has a chain, and so it was really easy to tuck things in and wire more flowers throughout. I added some orange flowers, some red flowers, some cream colored flowers, and just tried to give it some diversity. I also got these giant sunflowers, and those added a lot to the space. Next, I grabbed the pumpkin that I got at the dollar store, and I just kind of wove the stick into the chain, and it stayed really well. Okay, this is the point in the story where I restart my design because my husband pointed out after I was almost finished that it would actually probably look better if the garland covered the top part and the ugly beam. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Luckily, my husband is a genius, and so I got to work changing it. I'm in the process of taking it all down because it would have looked so much better along the outside of the archway. But at least I know I wired my flowers on really well because they're all staying intact, so that's a good sign. The flowers did stay really well, so I didn't completely have to start over, but I did have to rehang the garland. I wedged some nails in between the siding and the roof, and I finally got them to stay. We attached some wire, and this is what it looks like after. I think it opened up the archway a lot more. It made the space feel bigger. I had some leftover ribbon and burlap from Michael's, so I turned it into a bow. I just gathered it in the middle, creating 2 loops on the sides and letting the ends hang down, and then I wired the center part. I added some to the side as well, and at this point I was fairly happy with how it was turning out. It is the next morning. I'm wearing the same outfit today because I wanted to stay consistent. I'm posting some reels and doing some photography and stuff, so I like to wear the same outfit per project, even if it takes multiple days, so there you go. To be honest, this archway is taking me forever. I am not finished yet. I worked on it for so long yesterday and I still have something I want to redo on it. So we're gonna work on it today. I already started this morning and my face is covered in sparkles once again, and my hair, so that's lovely. We gotta love a good sparkle dusting, right? Okay, let's go jump into it. Okay, and this is where I edit my design once again. The chain had kind of fallen down on this side, and ultimately I decided that it was having it hang down next to the wall was just kind of making the space claustrophobic and small. So I took that side piece and I just used it to fill in the top and the beam. So I turned it into a half arch instead of a full arch, and I think I liked it a lot better. It just opened up the space a little bit more. Also, this morning was really feeling like fall. It was freezing outside until the sun really came up, so I bundled up in a warm sweater. At this point, I just went back through and added flowers back in. I had to move things around a little bit since I had adjusted my garland, but overall I'm pretty happy with the new result. You would not believe how long this archway took me, but I am so happy it is finally done. I am really happy with it. The only thing I don't like is I feel like it accentuates the fact that this pole is so awkwardly placed, but at least it looks prettier than the plain pole by itself. To the left of the door, the wall is a little bit plain. There is a light there, and I wanted to hang something from it, so I grabbed these wooden beads. I got this little wreath at Hobby Lobby about a year ago when I was making our wedding sign, and it actually fell off of our wedding sign since then, so I decided to add some leaves going around it. It originally was just a plain wood. I did stain the beads, and I am now just wiring those leaves that I got at the dollar store, kind of staggering the direction and creating a pattern with the colors. I got this wooden sign on sale at the end of fall last year. I think I got it at Joann's if I remember right, so I wanted to put it inside of the wreath. I had some orange tulle and I used that to hang the wreath and then hang the sign inside of it. I grabbed some ribbon. I actually got this ribbon at the dollar store a year or two ago, I think. So I used it to make a little bow. I just made 2 loops on each side and then I gathered it all in the middle and wired that together. I only had one tail hanging off at the end, so I just wired on another tail and I trimmed the bottoms to give it a nice shape, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I wanted to make a little fall tree to go under the sign, so I gave our real tree in the front yard a little trim, which it needed, and I took off all of the leaves. I found the cutest little jack-o'-lantern pot, so I put a foam block and ran the lights through it. My biggest goal for this area was just to cover the string lights that go to the archway. I also added some rocks to it to stabilize everything and set up my sticks. I used a plastic bag as filler and added some raffia on top, as well as some of those little leaves that I got at the dollar store. Then I grabbed those leaves and I glued them all over the tree. I started with one color, evenly dispersing it throughout, and then I added another color. I had oranges, yellows, reds, and green. I had some in the tree and then again some below in that pot, so it looked like some leaves had fallen off. And I love the whimsical, kind of cheesy, cozy feel that this little corner had with this fake tree. Next, I staggered my pumpkins going down the steps, and I used the rest of the garland and kind of wound it between the pumpkins so it felt like the archway was spilling down the stairs. Then I grabbed a little basket and added some of these cute little pumpkins to it just to give it an extra touch. Then I added some leaves from the dollar store once again and a few more pumpkins. I got so excited because in my garage I found these little tin cans. I forgot that I had gotten them from the thrift store a while ago, so I used them to hold the mums and just kind of staggered those on the stairs. I also grabbed an orange candy pail. I had gotten this from a neighbor who's having a garage sale and she just gave it to me for free, so I decided to fill it with flowers and kind of create a little arrangement. I love the way that the flowers made it look like the jack-o'-lantern's hair, and I think this little arrangement turned out really cute. I added some more decor, kind of going along the outside of the top patio area. My main goal was just to hide the lights that lead to the archway, and I'm a little bit torn about this because I added quite a few things and I feel like it kind of started to feel cluttered. I was just using whatever leftover fall decor I had at this point, and I can't decide if I like it kind of full. I did end up taking out, since I filmed this, some of the pumpkins and simplifying it. I kind of like it a little bit better, but I'm not sure. So let me know your opinion. Does it feel too cluttered, or should I leave it how it is right now? One thing I do want to do eventually is update this mat. This was the mat that was here when we moved in. It's a little bit worn. I think a Halloween mat would be fun, but I don't have time today, so that will be a project for another day. I think next year when we have the flower beds updated and maybe just make a few more changes, I'll be really happy with it. But overall, I think I made the most of the space that I had for the time being. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your ideas. What would you do with this space? Thank you so much for watching and following along. As always, your support means the world. I do post videos weekly. Next week, I am going to be posting a video with ideas for Halloween crafts and DIYs. So make sure to hit like and subscribe. There will be more content coming soon. Thank you guys. We'll see you next time.